Alright guys, so this is where we got to today. Kind of picking and choosing through here which trees I'm leaving, which trees I'm going to take out. And I just want to get in behind the machine here and I'll show you the forest floor and why we're going through here and trying to clean all this out. Show you all the fire starter, but these are all white pines here. This one's a white pine, white pine. There's a white pine right there. There's another white pine there. That's a big red pine in there. So, and that one right in there, this one here, that's a big oak, it looks like, nice and straight. So, but you can see what happens when all these trees get so dense like that. If we look up, they're all kind of growing into each other. So, this white pine here is growing into the oak. I think it's an oak, could be a maple, I don't know. So I'm going to take this one out for sure. My neighbor's stand needs 8 and 10 foot logs for making board and batten. So we're going to get rid of that one. We're going to leave this one. It's got a little bit of a bend there, but it's pretty nice and straight for what it is. So we're going to try and leave that one there. Then we're going to take out this one because it's pretty big down here. It's probably 20-inch tree. I don't know if it'll fit in the rollers. We'll have to try it. And then we're going to leave this one, which is a younger white pine, which is a little bit smaller, and we're going to let it grow for a while. And then we'll have to take out these couple little ones. There's a dead one there. This one here is dead. This one over there, that one's dead. You can see that one's dead over there. There's another dead one right in there. So we're going to have to take all those out, because otherwise they end up like this big one. They just get dead, blow over in a windstorm, and as you can see, all this, you know, the big word of the day these days is wildfires, and this is fire starter, all of this in here. So that's why I'm coming in here and cleaning this all up. Try and leave some of the better looking trees, you know. This tree should come out for firewood because you can see the big crack in it. But it's still blooming and kind of healthy, so we'll leave that one. But, you know, these two trees here, the balsam and the birch, have grown into each other, so one of those needs to come out. I'm going to take that spruce out because that's what the mill's buying right now. I may have to take this white pine out for Stan for his order. This big one here, that one right there, that's a spruce. It's all dead. So, and you can see all the dead stuff all over here. It's literally littered throughout all these young spruce. So, if a fire came through here, it would have lots of fuel. And so, I want to get it cleaned up. We're going to work up to the bottom. This is that hill. If you looked at any of my earlier videos, we are right up at the top of that hill with another trail, and we're going to come down this way whenever we get back up there. This is the old rock wall here. Like I said, it follows all the way up. You can probably see it right there. Let's see if I can get over this dead tree. Oh, there we go. So you can see this rock wall in here. You know, if you think about how much work this took to build with horses and manual labor, you know, 3 feet wide and straight uphill. It goes right up that hill, right up there to the top of the hill there. So this is the other side. Goes right down to where I showed you earlier, where I was going to put the bulldozer through. There's the machine for reference off to the right. So come in here, take out these balsams that are around the fence line. Go as far up the hill as I can. Try and pile all of the some days I wish I had an excavator, but then I'd have to get out of the cab with the chainsaw, and that's no fun. So alright, you guys, we're gonna head down, do chores, and we'll get back at it tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. We're just hiking up to the processor with Miss Aurora here. And I walked up here and it looks a lot different. Without all these trees in here, you can almost see right over to the old farm field over there. So it's starting to come together. We're gonna go in, we're gonna clear out this back section of trees in there today. And see if I can take down some of these big white pine over here. Now that we got the machine fired up, and before I forget to check. Alright, so this is a little white pine. It's dead right there, but as you can see, that's a nice couple oak trees right there. And again, if you look straight up, like spruce and stuff is growing into the canopy. So I'm going to take out this dead one, this spruce. I was just looking to check and make sure that there's barbed wire right through there. I don't know if it can come through on the camera, but like I said, this is the old rock wall. It goes along here. So, I'm going to come in here and give everything in here a haircut. This is a white pine right there. I'm going to try and leave it. It's young. Probably come in and take out these couple birch behind it and the balsam. Let them grow. Alright, I gotta head down and fire up the gator. But yeah, so I wanna... Unfortunately, you gotta pick and choose. But as you can see, this is a nightmare to walk through. You see all this dead stuff. In a couple months when it's dry, really dry, if there's a fire anywhere, it'll take out this bush in a heartbeat. So that's the point of cleaning it up. But this year, this is a nice big straight red pine. It's probably pretty healthy than they normally are, so I'm gonna try and let that one stand. I should probably take it out, but there's not really any other nice healthy trees. This birch should come out. It's ugly. There's a big white pine right there. That one's gonna stay standing for now. This is the one I talked about yesterday. It's trying to die. That spruce there is gonna come out, but there's a nice oak right there. So if I can get a good acorn season and take out some of these competition trees, we'll be able to get some more oak regeneration in here if I decide not to turn this pasture, because again, this goes straight uphill, so it's not really an ideal. Aurora, what are you eating? Come on. Oh, you're chewing on grass. There we go. Alright, well, we're gonna hike back down and put her in the house and come back up and cut some trees. So clean out the dead ones in here and make another plan, and we'll show you what it looks like when we're done. But you can see all these young trees in here, so I'll leave standing what I can for now, and then we'll decide whether this becomes a pasture down to the hillside there, or I'll have to bring the wife up for a walk and get her opinion on it. It's amazing what happens when you walk to the other side of a tree. I never even saw that, or if I did, in one of my other videos, I forgot about it. So that oak isn't really that healthy either, but I think I'm going to leave the oak standing so that I can get some nice acorns out of it down in here, and see if we can't grow some more oaks. So my wife's not going to be happy with me. The dog's been in all the water and all the muck, so she is not thrilled. All right, come on, Aurora, let's go. Hey, this way, Aurora, come. Good girl. Stay out of the mud puddles. Your mother's gonna murder me. We're gonna come in here and we're gonna clean up all this dead waste, try and make a pile out of it so that I can push it out with the dozer. And that'll all be chipper food. So this is the bottom of the hill where I cut most of these trees out by hand. Some big pine. And so this will I'll come in with the dozer, push all this stuff this way, and this is all going to be cleaned out. So I think that I might actually turn this whole kind of section here down to the bottom of the hill. That's where we were with the machine and the other day, up into here. So again, dead tree. We'll try and leave some of these standing. You know, this one's kind of cool, so it could be a marker tree or it'll become a big pasture tree. It's pretty wet in here, so we'll have to do some work on it. Another pile of brush, but you know, the brush isn't a bad thing. It provides habitat for rabbits. It also provides habitat for foxes and other stuff, so that could be problematic with the chickens. But you know, we have so many dogs, and the livestock dogs and the goats move around, that they tend to stay further away from us than most places. So again, this section I did by hand, and I tried to leave these trees. This is a nice white pine. That's a good sized tamarack tree. That's that funny looking balsam. That's a nice yellow birch there. This is a nice red pine. I should really go in and take out those couple of trees there and those smaller ones. And I should take out this one and these little ones around this tamarack that I want to leave. And then push all this out of here, and then I think this would be a nice pasture spot, but I gotta talk to the boss. It's up to her whether this will work good as a small pasture, and then we can move them into the farm field on the other side of the rock fence at some point. So anyways, we'll get you back in the cab with us while we take down some of those big white pines. it's starting to look a little different in here. Got good canopy spacing now. There's enough room for things to grow a little bit. Nice pile of big pine logs. Those are for Stanley. They should be 12 footers. I should put a tape on them again just to make sure. Let's try that. See if I can set you down here while I throw tape on it. There's 12. They're almost 13 footers, so they're a little bit long, but I'd rather give them some longer ones than shorter ones. And that way if you need some trim off of them, then let's see how this one measured out. So this was an 8 footer, 8 foot, 4 6-inch trim. Perfect. So the computer's working good. As I just about slip and land in the muck. But I gotta go make a dump run, and then we'll be back in here. We'll finish this up. We're gonna go through, clean up those last couple dead trees over there. There's a bunch more dead ones throughout there that all need to come out. I am gonna take that big spruce out. I'm gonna try and leave that little one right there that's beside the machine. Try and leave that one where it is. Go get that balsam over there, get that one out of there. Kind of looks like there's a nest up in this double tree there, so I'm going to leave that one be for now. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to take out all the dead trees around it. And then I think I'll come in with the forwarder, get the logs out of here, and make some windrows of brush with the forwarder. If I can't feed them to the goats, if they don't eat it all in time, I'll just push it into windrows or pile it into windrows. That way I can push it with the dozer. But there's still a bunch of dead stuff up in there I gotta go deal with, so we'll work our way up there, deal with all that stuff, and come back this way into here and kind of work up the hill as far as I can before I get stopped. Clean all the dead stuff out and let everything else kind of grow. So that's the plan.